Do you know what a Buddha's hand is? Yeah, I didn't either. Well, maybe many of you, most of you, do know what a Buddha's hand is. I didn't, but I'll give you the story. Okay. A friend of a friend gave me 5 citrus trees because she and her husband were moving to Florida, and because of Florida's laws, they couldn't bring in live vegetation into the state. Florida depends very highly on their agriculture, and they can't risk people bringing in plants that could be infected with parasites or other pests that could damage their agriculture. So she had these 5 citrus trees, small, still in 5-gallon buckets, and she gave them to me. I put some nice planters around my home, and I transferred them into these large planters, and they've been doing very well. They've been thriving. Now, I knew what one of them was for sure because the original nursery tag was still on it. It's a dwarf tangerine. The others, some of them had tags on them, handwritten, sort of legible, maybe not. I couldn't really tell what I had. One of them I thought was a lime. Turns out it wasn't a lime. I think another one is a lime, but not really a lime. I think it's a key lime. The fruit looks right. It has a round shape to it. It's the color. It doesn't have the little knob at the bottom like a lot of citrus, a lot of lemons and limes do. The problem is the branches don't have thorns on them, on that tree. And supposedly key lime has thorns on the branches. Maybe it's a thornless key lime. I don't know. Anyways, I've been waiting for them to produce fruit so I can see what they really are. I know the one over there is an orange because that's produced 2 fruit and they fully ripened and I got to taste them, and that is definitely orange. The others I wasn't sure about. And I'm going to show you some pictures just so you can see what these look like around my home. They're not there to produce fruit. I'm not trying to run an orchard here. I think they look nice. They're there for ornamentals because they look good around my home. And I have a very nice looking space. In fact, I have one of the best looking spaces in the park. I maintain it very well, although it's low maintenance. Okay, so one of the trees, the one nearest my driveway, started producing some really weird looking fruit. These citrusy things, they come out purple first, violet, and they have these scraggly fingers on them, and they continue to grow, become green, they get fairly large. I didn't know what I had. A mutant? Was it some sort of space alien citrus tree from some planet near Betelgeuse or something? I didn't know what I had. Someone I know went online and looked up citrus fruit with fingers on it and found Buddha's hand. Okay. Well, once he gave me a name, I started researching it. Buddha's hand is supposedly one of the oldest citrus trees out there, cultivated for thousands of years in Asia. In China, it's used as an ornamental. People bring the fruit into the home to add fragrance to the home because the fruit is supposedly very fragrant. It's not really edible. I know you're sitting there wondering, well, show us. Show us what it looks like. What is a Buddha's hand? I've been teasing you. Okay, so this is a Buddha's hand. Yes, I wore a yellow shirt to go with the color of this. I've been waiting for this to ripen. It has a flowery fragrance to it, better than a lemon or an orange. It almost smells like flowers, blooming flowers. And it's supposedly inedible as it's raw. There's no juice inside. It's white inside, but it doesn't have a bitterness to the white, like the pith under the skin of a lemon or a lime or an orange. Some people cut them up and put them in oil to give the oil a citrus note as far as the flavor. Some people do that with alcohol. They'll put it in alcohol like vodka or maybe just plain alcohol. I found a recipe procedure for candying it. And what you do is you cut it up, cook it for like 30 minutes, simmer it in boiling water, drain it, and then you make a simple syrup with sugar and water. Put the pieces of fruit in that, and then cook it until the temperature of the sugar syrup comes up to 270 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got it written down 110 degrees Celsius. It's not up to like a soft crack or even a soft ball stage. It doesn't get that warm. As you cook syrup like that and the water cooks away, the sugar concentrates and the temperature starts to rise. And you can cook it up to the point where like 310 degrees Fahrenheit and make candy with it. It's the hard crack stage. This, you don't cook it that high. Just enough to make it tacky. And then you drain it. You save the liquid because you can use the liquid for flavoring things like drinks. You can, I suppose, put it in a cake. It's a flavored syrup. I might get some lemons up the street when she's got more lemons on her tree, and then use that syrup to sweeten glasses of lemonade. That might be good. But then what you do is after you cook it for a while, I think it's 30 minutes in this sugar syrup thing, or at least once it comes up to temperature, then you let it cool down to room temperature. You transfer the pieces to a cooling rack, put a piece of parchment paper underneath to catch drips, and you let it dry for at least 24 hours so that the fruit is tacky but not fully dry. Then once it reaches that tacky stage, then you roll it in sugar. I'm going to use raw sugar because I think the crystals will look nice. Maybe I'll do half and half and compare them. And then you let it dry for at least 2 more hours, and then you have candied citrus or candied citron, or in this case, candied Buddha's hand citron. So that's what I'm going to do with this. I think it might be fun. I'm going to do a separate video on that and put it on my YouTube Mobile Home Gourmet channel. It's probably not going to be the most popular video I've ever done. I mean, how many people have access to these things? And some people, by the way, will grow these in their yard because the neighborhood kids won't steal them because they don't know what to do with them. And if they do try to eat one, they can't enjoy it like you can stealing an orange. So anyways, that's what I'm going to do. It won't be as popular as my salmon jerky, which I think is coming up on 280,000 views. That's my most popular cooking video. But I think it'll be fun. That's my Buddha's hand. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and tell your friends about it. And thanks for listening.